The setting sky bestowed the scenery with glimmering orange rays as Arjun walked to the pastureland, where his father, Vishnuit, was working. He waved. His father glanced at him, sighing. You are late. His father walked towards him after instructing his men to take the milk back to the warehouse. He stood, lanky, next to the bulky frame of Arjun. He wasn't the most handsome man, Arjun believed, but he was a kind person, with eyes that had warmth in it. Earlier than him. He hasn't been coming for work for the last 2 days, Vishnuit cursed, walking over to Arjun. The dairy farm had been part of Arjun's family for generations, passed from the forefathers of Vishnuit to the point that Vishnuit had learned everything about breeding, milking and herding before he had hit his teenage years. There was no injustice on the poor animals unlike other places, where cows were beaten and milk was forcibly taken from them. Milch animals were treated with foremost respect, acknowledged for their milk and dairy products, which imbued Shambhala with its prosperity. Arjun was proud of this fact, though he found all of this a tad exhausting and boring. It was not fun, cows and milking. Not the most interesting thing for a young lad like him. He began to work for the day, wondering what his older, careless brother was be doing as of now. And then, across the farthest stretch of the field, he saw silhouettes of horsemen, with their swords and lances high in the air. They were riding towards the farm. Lakshmi had been washing her parents' clothes close to the river. She had hated returning from Indragarh, since there she had learnt much about mathematics, astronomy, and was under her aunt's tutelage for education. But due to recent changes in the city, she was instructed to return here. The Tiavanbiales were changing the landscape, and her aunt, being in the judicial and library departments of the city, had told Lakshmi to leave, as it was the only wise course of action. As she had left, she had seen a little bit, and it wasn't much of a surprise since nothing really had changed. It would take time, perhaps, but the inclusion of Tiavanbiales and the loss by Vedanta hadn't impacted the people. Sure, the scribes made a nuisance, rumors flew thick, but nothing drastic had happened. Not a sign of rebellion occurred, and everyone continued to do their own work. Some even migrated as she could see a lot of caravans and carts leaving. They did it perhaps out of fear that something would happen, but Lakshmi was certain the Tiavanbiales were good news. They should be given equal rights and responsibilities. Now here she was, back in the sleepy and backward hamlet, feeling like a complete tool. She wanted to be fierce and not washing clothes in the clear waters. Though the river was deeper than the last time she had been here, and it didn't look still, it was in fact stirring rapidly. She narrowed her eyes, wondering whether she had come to the right river that her mother had instructed her about. Or was it the one close to the hills? The river's calm surface was shattered when a crocodile suddenly appeared and grabbed the clothes she had been washing. She pulled herself back, almost staggering. Wrong one. Wrong one. The crocodile viciously tore through her clothes, and he was coming out of the river for her. She grabbed one end of her kurti, while the crocodile grabbed the other end. They began to tug at it. Leave. You filthy creature. The crocodile was forceful, as he jerked Lakshmi forward. Her body was flung towards the creature, and she felt the involuntary loss of her footing. And then there were strong hands that grabbed her elbow and pulled her back. The shadowy figure lurched forward and literally kicked the crocodile in the stomach. It fell back with a splash. Then the figure rolled around with it until they both splashed under the surface of the water. Who is it? Are you all right? The water rippled and there were hands and a crocodile tail moving upwards. Lakshmi's heart came to her mouth as she hoped that her savior wouldn't die trying to save her. She looked at the river for a while, but the water was now still. And then water splashed all over her clothes as the figure emerged from the water, turning out to be none other than her childhood friend Kalki. He was older, bigger, and bulkier than before, with long, wavy hair, and the prayer beads of Lord Shiva tied around his biceps. His abs glistened with blood sustained from his fight with the crocodile, but his boyish smile gave nothing away. Lakshmi came up to him, worried out of her mind, but Kalki just embraced her tightly. He pulled back and just smiled. You are always chasing danger, idiot. He smacked her on the head. And you are always chasing to save me, Lakshmi said. And did you just kill a crocodile? Not really killed, but scared him away. He paused as he glanced at her lovingly. Why didn't you inform me that you were coming? Because it was sudden and before you ask me anything else, I just came to Shambhala yesterday and mother gave me all of this stupid work. She frowned. Already, Kalki laughed as he grabbed hold of his kurta from the tree he had strung it on. He put on the kurta as he said, What did you expect? Just because you live in the city doesn't mean you are one of them. Lakshmi frowned. I had been gone 2 years, and look at you. You have changed so much.